What's up everybody, how's it going, and welcome to the Mina channel. Today we have a discussion video here. I haven't talked about Persona 5 in a really long time, with Strikers and Shin Megami Tensei 3 and now SMT5 that came out this year. It's just been a really big year, so I kind of been not talking about Persona 5 for a minute now, but today I think it should be a good time to talk about it because as you guys know, and I made a video last week, the 25th anniversary of Persona is still ongoing, and the second announcement is coming up pretty soon here. Obviously, I'm not predicting that the second announcement is going to be Persona 5 related, but I think it's a good time to talk about what's next for Persona 5. And I think in a lot of our hearts, if you played Persona 5 Strikers, no spoilers or anything, but it really does feel like they have more for the story. Like, they have planned a little bit more as far as like what's going on with the characters, storylines, and everything like that. So with that in mind, just kind of thinking about Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 Strikers just selling immensely well. Persona 5 Royal sold, I mean, almost 3 million copies, 2 point something. And of course, with Persona 5 Strikers selling over 1 million copies, it just did spectacular. So they are obviously going to be doing more Persona 5 spin-offs, at least one more. And I believe that's the case. I believe we're just going to get one more, a big one. I don't mean something like the dancing games or something of that nature, but what do we think we're going to get Persona 5 related? What is the next game in the series here? And personally, I do think the Persona 5 Strikers was a good example of how they can continue the story without necessarily doing the same kind of gameplay as Persona 5, because Persona 5, if you guys don't know a little bit of the background behind that game, Atlus really spent a lot of years just leading up to Persona 5, even without even like actually starting to work on it. They had a long development cycle. They made a whole brand new engine for Persona 5. They spent years just writing the story and the characters and everything like that. So there is there was a lot of stuff that happened to make Persona 5. So thinking of that and sales and everything, I just really feel like it does have a lot of potential to continue the story somehow. Personally, I do think that they have a good chance of making either another fighting game or another Strikers game. Now, personally, I feel like the Strikers formula was fine. I don't think that it was terrible or anything like that, and I do think there was a lot of good stuff about the Strikers game. However, I do feel like the RPG fan in me, the JRPG fan in me, the one that loves turn-based RPGs, I love Megaten, I love Final Fantasy, I'm a huge fan of the turn-based style. I would like to see another one of just a traditional turn-based RPG type of thing. However, Atlus does like to mess around with different stuff when it comes to the spin-offs. They have done dungeon crawlers like in Persona Q games, they have done the fighting games, they have done Strikers, they have done so many other stuff, including a dancing game, or 3 of them at this point. So personally, I feel like the best way to send off the Phantom Thieves, now that in the 3rd game or whatever, in the storyline or anything, I do think that it will be a cool idea if we just see that in the same kind of format. Now, that's been my personal hope there. I really hope that they do that, but I do see it happening if we end up just having another Strikers game, or maybe even another like a fighting game. I do think that those two hold kind of like the most potential. Strikers 1 is not as time consuming because they don't have to do it themselves. They actually paid, or they work. This is a collaboration between Atlus and Omega Force, who does the all these games with the Warriors games and everything, and so they don't necessarily have to use a full team for that. It could be like half a team or the writing team or something like that. And on the other hand, they could have doing something like the fighting games, which again is not something that Atlus does themselves. The fighting games were done by Arc Systems, who they just excel at doing excellent fighting games. If you've never played any of them, definitely recommend you playing either the BlazBlue games or the Cross Tag Battle game that came out fairly recently, or any of them. They're all pretty good. Cross Tag Battle isn't as good, but it's still a pretty good game. Anyway, I'm just going on a tangent here. Bottom line is, they don't really have to use a full team to make those games because it's a different kind of style of game. So they don't have to break the bank and have the full team go and write this game and make this game and everything like that. It's very much a game that they just partially involved with it, and that's why they can turn and make this much quicker than a regular game, because not the whole team is involved in that. Now, we also have to address the elephant in the room, and I think we talked about this plenty of times. But Persona 6 is out in the horizon. Obviously, they are working on Persona 6. We know that there's a new team on Persona, or the P Studio, kind of just focusing on that. So at this time, I just think that they cannot just make a big full-fledged game, but something like a spin-off game, I think is very possible. But I want to hear in the comments down below, what are your opinions about this? What do you think is going to be the next either Persona 5 spin-off or the next one in the kind of storyline or anything like that? Because as you can see, Persona 5 Strikers is very much a sequel to Persona 5 as far as like story and characters and what happened, the aftermath and everything like that. They do kind of make an effort to build from the previous game. So I want to hear, where do you guys think the story is gonna go? You know, I want to hear your thoughts on like story or gameplay or type of game or anything like that. Personally, I don't know where the story could go. I would like to see a crossover between all Persona games, because I do think that that's one of the more cool aspects of the Persona series, is how they're all connected to each other, but at the same time they are not really connected to each other, you know, kind of that kind of stuff. And I love that. That makes me very excited. So if we could see something like that, that would be awesome. The fighting games were really good for that. Could be even awesome if we could see like previous characters from previous Persona games, like Maya from Persona 2 or Naoya or Tatsuya. You know, it'll be pretty cool to see them from like the different games and everything. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this, guys. Like and subscribe. Let me know again in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.